Clean up in here. I have to use a screwdriver. Try not to be too harsh with it, but you'll see a lot of carbon buildups, especially around. Let's see in here. Around here. Make sure you unclog right there. There you go. There. And right over here. And you'll see a bunch of carbon built up in here. Just going to get it all out. Take an air gun. Try to dig out as much as you can in there. Took a brush, steel brush, and shot it through this EGR port. Clean that out real good too. Line up the hose, because you can twist it off, or it'll sit different when the hose goes on. Try to get it as best as you can lined up. Now, new gasket, just put them on, tighten it down a little bit so you can see what you're doing. It's a really tight spot. I'm sure you're going to get there and see that. So anything helps. Let's see what we're using. 10 millimeter, just for the short extension. You want to start hand tightening that. Get it on up top. Then we're going to see how we're looking down the bottom. See if we can get it in first try. Go from there. I'm going to crank that up. I'm just using a standard wrench. Alright, got her back in. Now if you have any problems with this, just put a wrench right on the pipe, right up there, and just kindly push it up. That should move right into place, and we don't strip anything. Those nuts are seized in on that manifold. Alright, EGR valve back in. I'm going to be running the PPC valve right here. Now one quick test on these. It's rattling, it's good, at least it should be. So we're going to leave it alone, no reason to replace that. Check your boots here. These boots tend to crack, get kindly frail, brittle, and can just check them out real good. Kind of put a little pressure on those joints, make sure nothing's cracked. Pull a little bit to get back to it. It's not a big deal, but look at it while you're doing the job. Okay, one thing I did take out of the way was this wire here. I'm not too sure what this is. It goes into the firewall. Anyway, big hose, get it out of the way. Some people I've seen, you take the heater cores off. I didn't have to take all those off. You work around that. Getting everything back in. Now with that PCV valve, I'm going to run that. Don't forget to plug it back in here. And I could route this around. Here we go. Right there. So come on back like that. We'll get that in. Go from here. Checking the idle air control valve. Didn't have any codes, but I did want to just check it. Should be between 6 and 13 ohms. Just connect your voltmeter up to it right there. Cylindrical looking thing. Just take your leads out. I'll test this right quick. Like I said, between 6 and 13 ohms. 9.2, looking good. Alright, always a good thing to check the EGR pressure sensor, also known as the pressure feedback sensor. Look down here at the terminals. The one on the very left is going to be the 5 volt, the one in the middle is going to be your reference ground, and the one on the right is going to be your signal return. Now keep that in mind when you plug this back in, because you're going to have to back probe. Remember which one is which. Now when we back probe this, what we're wanting to do is turn the key on, engine off, and back probe the signal return. Now that should be between 4 to 6 volts. If you have a different reading, you might look into alternative tests, but that's what I'm looking at. So I'm going to show you how to do that right quick. Here we go. Alright, had to get some pliers, kind of get that needle down in a little further, didn't have it down enough. Come back, look at it. Now we're at a 3.38. Now the book's saying 4 to 6 volts. Now a place I was looking at to get another one of these in case I needed to was saying within a 10% range of 3.25 volts. The next thing we're going to do is put this intake back on. I already got the gasket laying down there. It wasn't a special retaining gasket that you could hold on with the screws, so didn't want to really use any solvent, not solvent, but gasket maker or anything like that to slap on the sides. Just figured I could do this by hand. Just gonna lay it in there nice and soft and let the screw settle it out. Little note, this hose on the right side was a little tough to get in from the top. I was able to get my hand through the back before I had all the electrical hooked back in. I'll try to hook that in first before you get everything screwed down, just to be on the safe side. Not too sure how you're going to be operating, but might make it a little easier. But I was able to reach my hand around here with nothing back here, and squeeze that on tight. So little tip, to get this body back on, I just laid the gasket down in there. I dropped the nuts through the body and I lowered it down. Used a couple extensions, 10mm socket to hand tighten. Alright, now you got a hose here that's you need to go back on. One right here on the other side. Let's see if I can get down, and there you go. Right there, just make sure I don't have it attached yet. Slip that back over there. Crank my up to about 144 inches. It is 12 to 18 foot-pounds, so I'm going to do about 144 inches. See if it needs any more than that. And keep on rolling. Quick test on this solenoid vacuum valve is to run an ohm meter on it. What you want to see is 51 to 108 ohms. Definitely not seeing any on this one. Alright, show you one I just received. Doesn't seem to be between the 51 to 108, but we are getting a reading. Let's see if I can 33.1. About 32 ohms. So that'll be a check on the solenoid vacuum valve. If that information helps. When you take these apart, if it is good, it's always a good idea take the filter out to clean that right in here. I'm not going to take it out, but clean it with some soapy water. Clean that up a little bit. Gonna be getting the pressure feedback sensor back down. Got this bracket. Already got it tucked under the wires. You're gonna have a bolt back here. Let's see. You see down here, and one right here. Pulled that out and kept that one there, so I remembered it. Kind of one of those places you can forget. Just back here, and tightening. Make sure not to bend your EGR. You already have that in. Just use a 10mm, same old 10mm. get them tight. Same thing with the vacuum solenoid. Left the screw in the bracket, and I didn't get it mixed up. Helps out a lot. Now when you put this on, same way as you take it off, get it sideways just like that, and you're getting it on that. Just get it on there, and just keep it right around down there. Now with this nut, take it off, put it on, you can always put that nut back on there, screw it in and screw it off. Now be careful, because that nut will fall down in there if you're not holding it tight. Now this is one part of the job. You will be using a 9mm. You could use a little mini socket, you know, in there just like this. And get plenty of room. Okay, we plug the pressure sensor back up. Green is going to be on top, and the red is going to be on the bottom. Again, that's green vacuum on top, red on the bottom. Now that we have those pushed on nice and tight, just plug it in. Everything's looking good, nothing broke. Finishing touches. Don't forget to press that clip in down here. Didn't mean to do that a second ago. This one is placed right under there. See if I can do it for you. See, where'd you go? Go on and hook up your pressure feedback sensor right down there. When you're putting these breathers back together, make sure they will fall off, that you do overlap them. Kind of got to squeeze them on like you're squeezing a lemon. Take that, put it underneath there, keep on going, and I kind of twist it around and it'll fall into place. One more note about these clamps, they only go one way, and you will see this long ridge on one side and a short ridge on the other. Now somehow or the other this gets flipped. Okay, let's see, it looks right. The ridge is in it. You can see it in there. See? Shark fin in it. And look at this side. It's way off. So make sure you got it lined up right before you put it back in.